Jack in from Florida, who also thinks that abortion is murder. Jack.
Hi there. Hi there.
Hello.
Hi. So
Hey, Jack.
I saw the poll, and I kind of wish that I chose other. Because I don't think it's murder per se, but I do think it's a killing human being, and I think it can be justified.
You think it can be justified by doing performing abortion?
Yeah, I'm for abortion personally.
Okay.
You know, but I think it is a killing of a human being. I think it's intellectually dishonest to consider a fetus not human or not living. It is living, and it is human. And I think it's okay to kill them because I think it's better for a child to grow up in a home in which they're wanted. I think it's preferable for society for that to happen, rather than them growing up like in an orphanage or something.
I think the problem, I have no kind of problem in as much as you're saying it's living as such. I think I think killing is a different thing because definitionally, killing refers to somebody who has been born. And I think that's probably where we're going to have. Well, I'm going to have the most pushback on you is that by definition it is not killing. It is, it's a living thing that is relying on someone else to sustain its life, and that person choosing not to continue to sustain its life is not killing it. By definition. Okay.
How did you come to that definition that you need to be born in order to be killed?
That is just the definition of.
No, I don't think that's necessarily the definition.
The definition of killing is one person taking another person's life.
Right, but a fetus is alive.
It's not considered a person. It's not considered an independent person while it's reliant on its mother.
According to who? What? Some legal standard? Is that what you're referring to?
I don't make the rules, mate. I'm just giving you the definition of killing. An act of causing death, especially deliberately. But it's to a living.
If we're talking like a legal standard.
I want to take a step back for a second. I want to take a step back because I want to stay on this idea of killing. In my opinion, okay, and I'm not quoting legal definitions per se. I think killing, just through my human experience, has a negative connotation. Right? It sounds almost intentional. It sounds a little bit malicious. We're not killing in abortion necessarily, are we? Or are we terminating, which I think has a little bit of a different connotation. And I think that's where words matter, because these approaches that we take to examining whether an abortion should be or should not be carried out. First of all, again, I want to caveat that with, I am not the expert in the room, and I'm never going to be in a position to have to do so. So we really need to put that in the hands and in the minds of the people who are more qualified to do so. Right. So if somebody has to terminate a pregnancy, well, first of all, we've gone over this already. It could be a very difficult decision. It could be a matter of life and death. And I don't think that the people who are really affected by that or may not be affected by it really want to consider that they're killing their unborn child. It's a little bit of a word game you have to play with it. But if you think it's justified, then what's the problem really with having to terminate a pregnancy in cases where, it might be understandable?
I don't see any problem with abortion at all. Like if a woman wants to terminate her pregnancy and it's because she doesn't want to have a child right now, or maybe it's because of incest, or because of rape.
Yeah.
all those things are fine with me. All I'm saying is that it's just a killing. I'm okay with it. I just consider it a killing, a justified killing. That's all.
And we can go back and forth over maybe the definition of killing, but I think on the whole we're not really in disagreement. You know, I think there's circumstances where, yeah, we understand that abortion might be necessary, or in many cases, most cases, it's somebody else's decision, not ours, not us men, for sure. But I don't know where this conversation goes after that. I tend to agree with you.
That sounds cool. I mean, I was just in the chat earlier, and some people were talking about how, but somebody actually said that a fetus wasn't even human, which I was like, dude, it's not a cat, you know?
Well, we're having, like I said, so we're having that. Like, I think this is such an awesome conversation to have. I really do. I think, like, in human history, we are in a period where we are like defining where life starts. You know, we should be free to have that conversation and to philosophize, if you will, over, this kind of critical line of questioning. I think it's critical in many ways. But we have to keep fighting that fight and, not have our hands tied. And I think that's kind of the dilemma we're in. So yeah, I mean, of course it's not a cat. Honestly, Jack, with all due respect, I think it's a little ridiculous. We are talking about human life. It's just that, at what process does it become life? I think it's a really kind of inspiring conversation to have. Those are just my thoughts on that, but killing, terminating, for whatever reason, these are decisions that are the experts to make, and for the owner of that body that is giving that potential life.
Right. I do have a question for you guys, though. Suppose there's a pregnant woman, right? Suppose she is almost to term, and somebody shoots her in the torso, kills the unborn child or fetus or whatever you want to call it, and she survives. Should she be charged with 2 murders, or like an attempted murder of her and like the murder of the child, or should it just be the attempted murder of her? What do you guys? This is
not an easy answer. I think with a question like that, you're looking for an easy answer, and when we find ourselves in that situation, we are in a courtroom. There is evidence. There is right to a speedy trial. There are all kinds of things that have to be taken into account, and so I can just say that I hope nobody's ever in that position to where they feel they have to do that.
Sure.
Unfortunately, we are able to cite situations where people put themselves at risk in order to get an abortion because that right and that ability to have that conversation with their medical provider has been taken away from them. So I really can't go down this road of if this and if that. It's unfortunate all the way around.
Yeah. Okay, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I appreciate that call, and I think Jack, it is one of those things. It's kind of, and I'll give you a little bit of pushback at the beginning of the call, but it's kind of like one of those, what is the definition of atheism thing? I think there are so many subtleties and nuances to it, and as we said with a couple of the callers earlier on the subject of abortion. It's not just a case that the pregnant person remains in the same state and the fetus remains in the same state throughout the whole process. Things are growing and changing all the time, and this, I think, law kind of reflects this, and definitions reflect this in by giving the idea that we have 3 trimesters and 3 different stages of kind of growth for the fetus and things like that. And it is very, very nuanced, and it's an interesting conversation to have, and I'm kind of glad we've had it today, and we've had an array of voices and opinions on it. And I really appreciate your voice at the end, because when I read the call notes, I kind of thought you might be another another like, oh, abortion is murder, I'm dead against it. And the fact that, it's just kind of the definition and the nuance of the definition you wanted to talk about, when you're actually kind of on the same page as both myself and Jimmy, I think, with a lot of the things surrounding abortion anyway. It's interesting to have these conversations, and, it gets people thinking. It really, really does get people thinking, and I think that's important. So I appreciate your voice. Is there anything else you wanted to kind of touch on just before we let you go?
Yeah. So I used to be a theist for a long time, and atheism is like kind of a newer thing for me. I started reading Bart Ehrman and Richard Dawkins and listening to debates on YouTube and stuff, and it kind of shattered my worldview. So I was just wondering, what do you guys think is like the meaning to like us even existing? Or is that too much to ask? I think that probably is.
I don't think it's too much to ask. I think it's a really, really good question. But we are very much at the end of the show, and it's kind of a completely different subject. So what I would encourage you to do is keep that question in mind and give us a call back, Jack, because it is a really, really good question. And I would like you to kind of phone and ask it where you can be given the appropriate time from the host to actually give you a good and an honest answer and an in-depth answer on the subject. So kind of give us a call back when you can, next week if possible, if not as soon as you can, and keep the question in mind. We've had some good calls on abortion today. I think it's not just been a case of having like lots of people phone up with the same opinion. I think every caller has brought something slightly different to the table, and I really, really appreciate that.